Welcome back to Ozarks Tonight. I'm Heather Lewis. 2020 has certainly been a year of change amid the pandemic. Students especially are adapting to a new way of learning and living. To make sure all their needs are being met, one organization is stepping in to help. Joining us tonight is Mike Duggar, president of Lutheran Family and Children's Services, and Julie McAfee, the director of Hilltop Child and Family Development Center. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So, Mike, let's get started with you. I understand Lutheran Family and Children's Services has recently expanded the Hilltop Child and Family Development Center to include what is known as Wraparound Services. Could you explain what Wraparound Services are and how they're implemented?
Sure. Just a very simple way of looking at it is wraparound just starts with the kid in Hilltop, and Julie can give you a little bit more specifics on how she works with the children and families. But we really start looking at what does the family need to help that child be successful. And what we found is that when you're looking at underserved communities, and this is statewide, if you go into any community that's really dealing with violence, socioeconomic struggles, a lot of times our families are faced with situations that they cannot provide all the other resources of those families who have means can. So we work with the child at Hilltop, and then if the family needs additional resources, whether that's counseling services, parenting services, anything that we can connect them with in the community, we try to wrap our arms around them and help them in any way we can, so it'll ultimately impact the child.
So there's several things that are included in this idea of wraparound education then.
Absolutely. And wraparound is not a new model. It's been used in the mental health field. It's been used in residential treatment and foster care. So we wanted to use that model and apply it to educational setting. And the results that we're seeing, which Julie can talk about, are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so Julie, let's get to that. Tell us how wraparound education works at the Hilltop Center. I understand there are licensed social workers on site.
We do. We have our valued Mr. P, as the kids call him. He has been wonderful in our program. We've been doing this for about 2 years now, steady. And what we find is everything in education, or really in life, right? It starts with relationships. Getting to know the clients that we serve, be that the children in our program, as well as their parents. In early childhood, it's always been on the forefront to focus on that kindergarten readiness piece, right? But in the last 5 or so years, we have noticed that childhood trauma and family trauma has been exponentially higher than it ever has been before. So what we were seeing is we have kids coming into school that aren't ready to learn, and we had to sort of answer that and figure out how we help these children and also make sure that they have the keys to success for when they move on from our program. Examples of those trauma, we've had exponential gun violence issues in this country, drug addiction, death of family members, divorce. All of these things are weighing on the children in our program, and we have to, through our relationships, know how best to help those kids. And Mr. P has stepped in and has taken on the play therapy model with them, and really gets them sort of talking about their feelings and how to just kind of cope when they're starting to feel that stress that's really weighing them down at times.
So you said that this has been implemented there for about 2 years. What has research shown about wraparound education even before the pandemic?
I mean, all the trauma stressors that I sort of named, I mean, it just is like the tip of the iceberg. But then you talk about a pandemic. Now we've got people that are going through job loss. We've got families that have never had to deal with lack of food access or just the basic resources that they need to function daily. And we also have families that have never had to navigate the state system in regards to subsidy, food stamps, Medicaid, for health services. And so we're here to help them sort of navigate through that.
Yeah, and if you're looking at research on this, not a lot of organizations are using this kind of model. And we're actually, our strategy for Hilltop is to continue to build the model so we can have people come in, whether it's a partnership with a university, to go in and actually do research and show that how we're approaching children and families from these types of backgrounds actually helps them in the long run. Because we're not looking, the one thing that I wanted to mention, we're not ending the relationship when a child comes to Hilltop and maybe they're an infant and they're with us for 5 years and they go on to kindergarten. We're actually tracking those kids through the 4th grade because we want to show an impact on their 3rd grade reading proficiency. And if you look at our location where Hilltop is located, the average reading proficiency in that 3 zip code location is between 26 and 28% compared to the state average of 60%. So we're really working with those children in our program to start turning the curve in that area and then hopefully get some research partners in there so we can actually show how we approach working with children and families from socioeconomic areas that are struggling, high violence areas. This kind of model works.
And Mike, this really has a ripple effect on the community too.
Absolutely. And Julie can tell you this more than I can because she lives it every day. But when we can get kids that are in these disadvantaged areas and 60% of those kids are testing at a 3rd grade reading level, it can transform a community. So absolutely, this has ripple effects, and what we want to do at Lutheran Family is to impact children and families for generations.
And Julie, did you have anything to add on that?
I would just say, it's kind of the back of our mind always that if we can have healthy families, we have healthy children, and then that will in turn make for a healthy community for generations to come, just as Mike was sort of saying.
And one last question, about to run out of time, but Mike, can anyone benefit from Wraparound Services?
Oh, I believe so. And, it's a child-focused program, but it's family-driven. And one of the things that we're doing in all of our programs is we're implementing a very similar model, whether it's foster care, adoptions, behavioral health, and prevention. So Julie was our guinea pig, and we're just seeing great results. So yeah, we're going to continue to work that through so it'll be a seamless system for all the children and families we serve.
Okay, very good. Mike, Julie, thank you so much for being here to tell us about this wraparound education service that is affecting people here locally as well. And we'll put some more information with your website included on our website after this story airs.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. And we will be right back with more Ozarks Tonight. Keep it here.